December 11th, Kettle Hills Board of Commissioners meeting. We will call this meeting to order. I welcome you all for joining us and being here with us this evening. The first item is to join us and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And if you would also join us for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, first up, or next up is the agenda approval. There's a first and second. Any discussion? I will, so we officially need to add it, but you may be aware that Jack McCombs is here. Yes, hey Jack, welcome. It's not listed under presentations, but he is going to be doing a presentation this evening under, it'll be basically the second presentation. Oh, never mind. There's already an amended agenda at everyone's table, so we don't have to approve. We can approve that one, but great. At your seat, there was an amended agenda. So with that, we have a first and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Great. Okay. You might notice our attorney is not here. There's been an emergency. He's taken this evening. So we do have 2 public hearings this evening. Typically, our town attorney conducts those public hearings, but I'm going to do my best to work us through these public hearings. They're great public hearings tonight. So we'll move right into, these are public hearings set for recommended local historic designations. The following rules of procedure will apply to these hearings. A public notice of each hearing was published in the newspaper and posted on the town bulletin boards in accordance with the statutory requirements for the subject matter. A copy of the public notice has been filed with the town clerk for entry into the official record of the hearing. The town clerk will record all oral comments in a concise and brief manner. Written statements shall be recorded in a similar manner and made a part of the record of the hearing, and shall be submitted in full to the town clerk. Please limit your comments to matters relevant to the issue and to the time period of 3 minutes. A 5-minute exception will be made if there is a spokesperson for a group or if your statement is submitted in writing to the town clerk. All speakers must come to the microphone so that your statement will be taped. There will be no debates. Please identify yourself when you come forward. The first public hearing will please come to order. This hearing is called for the purpose of the Kildover Hills Board of Commissioners to consider a proposed local historic designation. This is for 2807 North Virginia Dare Trail, the Reese, did I say that correct? The Reese Cottage. Do we have anyone that has signed up to speak at this? No one speaking on behalf of the Reese Cottage. Okay. Well, with that, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone, it's okay if you didn't sign up to speak, if you still have an interest in speaking on this particular public hearing, you can raise your hand and we'll call you to the podium. Is there anyone that wants to speak for this public hearing? I see no hands. Any comments from the board for discussion? This went through our Historic Landmarks Committee, and the resolutions are in the packets justifying the designation of this property. Pretty neat history.
Yes.
Okay. If there's no further discussion before we take action, I will close the public hearing on that particular property. We can take a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve the local historic designation for 2807 North Virginia Dare Trail, Reese Cottage, as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Okay, we will now call the second public hearing to order. This hearing is called for the purpose of the Kildover Hills Board of Commissioners to consider a proposed local historic designation. This designation is at 501 South Virginia Virginia Dare Trail. This is the Coggins Lassiter Cottages. Anyone sign up for this one? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak at this public hearing? No. Anyone on the board wishes to speak? Any comments? Okay, we will, actually, then we can close the public hearing and a motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the local historic designation for 501 South Virginia Dare Trail, the Coggins Lassiter Cottages, as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other comments?
I just want to comment that it's interesting about this particular structure was originally built as a boathouse and was converted to a single-family dwelling in 1933. It's one of the oldest structures we have in the town. It's pretty neat.
Again, great history and appreciate the work of our Historic Landmarks Committee. Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signal saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great, thank you. Nice to add 2 new additional historic designations for the town. Okay, with that, we will move on then on our agenda to the first time set aside this evening for public comment. This is an opportunity to bring any item forward on any topic of your choosing to the board. If you do wish to speak at this public comment time, if you would just when we call on names, just approach the podium, identify yourself by name and address, and then just share with the board anything of your choosing. So with that, do we have anyone sign up? No one signed up. Is there anyone from the floor that wishes to speak this evening at this public comment time? Okay, we'll keep moving. All right, then we will go on to introductions and presentations. The first item this evening is the presentation of the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report for fiscal year 2016-2017 and the Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting for fiscal year 2016. Welcome, Teresa.
Good evening. I'm Teresa Osborne from Dowdy & Osborne CPAs, and I'm here this evening to present the results of your June 30th, 2017 Annual Independent Audit. The town has received an unmodified opinion on its financial statements, which is the best opinion you can receive, and this is found on pages 1 and 2 of your audit report. Additionally, there were no findings related to internal control over financial reporting or over compliance with laws, regulations, and grants, and that report is found on pages 157 and 158. The town prepares a comprehensive annual financial report, which is a step beyond the basic required financial statements and disclosures. It includes significant additional statistical data that more fully presents the town's financial history and performance. I'm just going to touch on a couple of details tonight. I don't want to go through the whole report with you because you have a lot on your agenda. In the general fund, the town's unassigned fund balance at June 30th, 2017 was a little over $9,813,000. This is an increase of about $720,000 over the prior year. This balance represents 65% of the general fund expenses for the fiscal year, compared to 59% in the prior year. This increase over the prior year is primarily a result of revenues exceeding budget expectations in several categories, along with savings in several departmental expenditure budgets, with a net savings between the two of close to $1.6 million. The town has adopted a fund balance policy which requires a minimum fund balance of 35% of the subsequent year's budgeted expenses. That amount would be about $5,969,000. So the unassigned fund balance that I referenced of $9,813,000 more than covers that minimum requirement. The tax collection rate on ad valorem taxes was 99.34%, which is an excellent rate. The municipal service district tax, the town-wide tax designated for beach nourishment, and sales tax resulting from the municipal service district tax increase resulted in a transfer to the Beach Nourishment Capital Reserve Fund of $1,289,000. That will be used for future debt service on the beach nourishment debt and for any future maintenance. In the water fund, there was a positive increase in net position, but slightly less than the increase in the prior year. This was a result of charges to customers not increasing over the prior year with planned rate increases, most likely due to a comprehensive meter replacement program that catches leaks earlier and saves on consumption. However, operating revenues more than covered operating expenses and depreciation, which is where you want to be. In the wastewater fund, there was a decrease in net position. Although operating revenues are sufficient to cover operating expenses, it is still insufficient to cover all of the depreciation. One of the disadvantages of a small wastewater fund with limited customers. The town implemented the remainder of what we refer to as GASB Statement 73 last fiscal year, which required the full liability for the law enforcement officer's special separation allowance be recognized in your full accrual financial statements, and this required a beginning balance restatement of $905,000. The next new major accounting standard to be implemented will affect the town in fiscal year 18. This will require the town to recognize the full actuarial liability for its retiree health insurance plan, where currently we only recognize an amortized portion. The town should have its actuarial valuation for the health insurance plan done as soon as possible after December 31st to begin working through the changes and fully understand the change that this will have on your financial statements. I am continuing to monitor developments on this standard and am prepared to help implement this next year with the town. Overall, the town ended the year in very good financial condition. I would like to thank the entire finance department for all of their work, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have now, or I'm certainly available later if anything comes up.
Thank you so much, Teresa.
Thanks.
Questions for Teresa? Well, thank you so much. And
Thank
we'll
you.
have time to go through the report in full. It's very comprehensive, and if anyone else wants a copy, we can make these available. But thank you for the work that you do and working with our wonderful finance staff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teresa. And very quickly, I'm going to present our award. The Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada awarded a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting to the town of Kettle Hills for our comprehensive annual financial report. For the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2016. So we submit it, they grade it, and then they send us our award. The Certificate of Achievement is a prestigious national award that recognizes conformance with the highest standards for preparation of state and local government financial reports. In order to be awarded a Certificate of Achievement, a government unit must publish an easily readable and efficiently organized comprehensive annual financial report whose contents conform to program standards. The CAFR must satisfy both generally accepted accounting principles and applicable legal requirements. The certificate is valid for a period of 1 year only, and Killable Hills has received a Certificate of Achievement for the last 29 consecutive years. We believe our current report continues to conform to the Certificate of Achievement program requirements, and we are submitting it to the GFOA. And in conclusion, I'd like to express my appreciation to each member of our finance department. Some of those members are here tonight. I also want to thank the mayor and board of commissioners for their continued support for maintaining the highest standards of professionalism in the management of the town of Kettle Hills finances. And while we used to get plaques and we used to line them up, all 29 of them, they now send us a little sticker.
We ran out of wall space.
It's actually a little gold sticker to go on one plaque. But thank you very much.
Beverly, thank you. Before you step away, I made a note here. Beverly said that we prepare the report, they submit it, and they send us our award. And to me, it's after 29 years, that's kind of how Beverly interprets it. But there is a tremendous amount of work that goes into that by you and your staff that are here. we haven't achieved that for 29 years by happenstance. It's through the dedication and the work that you and your team do to pull this off. So I don't want to, undervalue the tremendous accomplishments that you do and what a great service they do for all of the constituents of Killable Hills. So thank you so much. And can I get the rest of the finance department to stay in, please? And we'll give them a round of applause. Thank you all. Great work. Okay, so we'll move on then to the next item under presentations, and as I mentioned, Jack McCombs is here. I think, Jack, you may have some guests with you tonight as well. So we're excited to hear, if you haven't, about this huge endeavor that Jack and two of his friends are getting ready to embark on in a few months. So welcome, Jack.
Before I start, I just want to congratulate the Outlawn Board. You've all done a terrific job, and I'm very happy and very proud to be a resident of Camp Killable Hills. And I share that sentiment with the incoming board because I'm equally confident that they'll continue the fine tradition that we've had in this. As you can see, there's a map of the United States, and if you go out to where San Diego is, that's A, if you can see the A. In August, we started to talk, three of us started talking about riding across the United States. And in October, we had a meeting, and we committed to doing that. We're going to ride from San Diego to St. Augustine, Florida, and then two of us are going to turn north and ride up to the Outer Banks. And as you see, the total distance will be 3,588 miles. These are the three people. On the left, Jim Ebert. Jim, will you stand up? Rita, please stand up. And I'm the last one. Chronologically, I'm the oldest. Biologically, I'm the youngest. They dispute that. Please take a note of the jerseys that we're wearing. We're going to ride across the United States advertising the Outer Banks. And as you'll have noticed, 19 days will be spent in Texas. 40% of the ride is in Texas, and it's going to be flat and boring, but we'll have our Outer Banks jerseys on so a lot of people can see us. We love this ride, the three of us, so I won't say that we're doing this for a cause mostly. We just love to ride our bicycles. However, there's some interesting facts about the three of us. You can ride and lead a very vigorous lifestyle despite your age, that's me, despite a recent joint replacement, that's Jim, and Rita has a debilitating disease that she's had for several years, more than a decade, and we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm also using this occasion to raise money for cancer victims and their families in the Outer Banks, and for residents outside the Outer Banks for the American Cancer Society. Here's Rita. On the left here, you'll see Rita is one of the best women cyclists in the United States in the senior ranks. This year at the National Senior Games, she won a silver and a bronze medal. She's been almost a resident champion of Virginia and North Carolina for a number of years. She does both road races and time trials. The former you race against people, the latter you race against the clock. I asked Rita to say something, to write a few words about her condition. She has multiple sclerosis. Rita, would you read or just talk off the top of your head of what you said here?
Oh, basically, I've had multiple sclerosis since I was 42. I'm now 66. I'm convinced that through vigorous exercise and a positive attitude, you can manage any condition to a better place than you would be if you didn't have it. Most of my symptoms are not obvious to anybody else. There's severe joint pain, bouts of fatigue, numbness. I have permanently numb hands. I have numb feet up to my ankles. But in fact, you just accept that as the new normal. And you say, okay, what do I gotta do to deal with that and continue to be active and move? About 18 months ago, I went off my medication, which was a daily injection. I feel much better not being on the medication, and I haven't had any active demyelination in 4 years, now over 4 years. And as I say, I believe a lot of that is attributable to the exercise and positive attitude. Now, when I was 42, I was dealing with stuff that most people weren't dealing with at the age of 42. By 66, lots of people are dealing with something. So kind of my point with this ride as well is to say, whoever you are, whatever you're dealing with, and pretty much whatever age you are, if you get out and you do something that's hard for you every day. For me, some days that's just walking. Other days it's winning races. But I don't know which body I'll have on what day. I use the one I got. Push it as hard as I can. You do that, you'll have a higher quality of life, I firmly believe, regardless of who you are, what age you are, what situation or condition you're dealing with. So that's kind of what's behind an extra motivator for me on this ride across America.
I had the pleasure of coaching Rita, I guess about 2 weeks after I met her. I fell in love with her. I think she's just an inspiring individual. If you get to know her and how hard she works, you realize what an exceptional human being she is. Jim, he kind of thinks that Rita and I are sissies because he does Ironman triathlons. Now, he's a young 70, and you can see that he has done quite well in his tri career. Now, he has a new training technique that he's going to practice for this cross-country ride. He decided to have a partial knee replacement. I don't think that's going to work very well, but he's going to do the ride, and he had that knee replacement this past August. Now he's in physical therapy and trying to get in good enough shape to pedal 3,600 miles. I'm the last one. You see the before and after picture. Up till 2004, I weighed 218 pounds. My doctor said that I was a heart attack waiting to happen, and I realized I had to do something. Many people realize that and don't do anything, but I did, and you can see the difference in the way I look. I too have won a fair amount of championships, Virginia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. I traveled up to Pittsburgh and beat all the men, the seniors in my age group in Pennsylvania, and that was a lot of fun because I grew up in Pennsylvania. I'm dedicating this ride to the members of my family, friends who have perished from cancer, and I'm hoping to raise a good amount of money through this ride. You'll see, many of you knew my wife Margie. She passed away this last February from ovarian cancer. Here she is with her hospice nurse this is about 3 weeks before she passed away. The right side picture with the two of us, we came up with a bucket list of activities that we wanted to do before she couldn't travel. Most of those bucket list activities were in the Outer Banks, but we did include in that travels to our children and grandchildren who were in New York and Indiana. This picture was taken at the Kill Devil Grill because they're famous for their key lime pie, and we wanted to try that, and that's what you see in the plate in front of us. The lady on the right was my first wife. She also perished from ovarian cancer. She was a naturalized U.S. citizen from Luton, England. The lady on the bottom left is my sister. She passed away in 1983 at the age of 35, leaving two small children. and a husband that just loved her to pieces. Her husband was a B-52 radar navigator, flew 202 combat missions in Vietnam, including all the linebacker series. He told me after the war that he did not expect to survive. He did, and my sister came down with cancer and passed away. She was also an Air Force officer. The picture on the lower right was my best friend of over 40 years. He and I were in the Air Force together, and later I worked for him at NSA, where he was a civilian employee. He lived in Kitty Hawk until he came down with bladder cancer, and then they relocated so that he would, his wife would be near their children and grandchildren when he passed away. He was diagnosed, he was already terminal like my wife was. This picture with the fish was taken in my backyard. We did a lot of fishing, and we did a pretty good day, had a good day that day. He died of bladder cancer, and his wife died last year of pancreatic cancer. So these are the people that I'm dedicating this ride to. I just thought after losing so many loved ones and wondering why I wasn't a victim of cancer, and that is something I think about a lot. I pray a lot about. Now, I'm hoping to raise money from two distinct audiences. And the first audience is residents of the Outer Banks. Two nonprofit organizations in the Outer Banks are just wonderful, wonderful places. One is the Outer Banks Hospital Hands of Hope, which is allied with their cancer center. And I'm going to introduce you to a lady that was a godsend to my wife and I soon. The other one is the Interfaith Community Outreach that helps so many people in the Outer Banks. And I'm going to introduce you to a lady from there. Why don't you both come up? Ann, Jennifer. I was fortunate. I'm retired military, so I was able to financially afford all the costs because as a retired military, I have wonderful lifelong insurance that takes care of his bills. Each of my wife's oncology chemo treatments were $28,500, and she had a lot of them. Cancer not only robs you of your dignity and your life, it also often can ruin the families financially. Ann, this is Ann Graham. She was my wife's nurse navigator. Not only did she steer us through everything down in the Outer Banks, she coordinated with the hospitals in Virginia when my wife had to be rushed there. And say a few words about Hands of Hope and the Cancer Center.
Well, the Hands of Hope is a volunteer organization that was started with the Outer Banks Hospital, and the money that is raised helps patients of the Cancer Center. And some of that money goes to lots and lots of things. The volunteers will, a big part of their jobs and their volunteers is they will drive our patients anywhere with their own gasoline and their own car. We have patients that go up to Duke or UNC, and these volunteers will drive them there. The Hands of Hope volunteers will make meals. They'll watch your children. We do have some young families that have cancer, and the volunteers will help with the kids, help them with homework, pick them up from school. They can arrange phone call trees for people that if they're having some bad news, they can make these calls to various people in the family. So our Hands of Hope program is huge for us, and it's such a huge help to families who are dealing with cancer. From our cancer service team, we have 2 navigators. We have an oncology social worker. What we do is try to get patients the care they need. We try to assess any kind of obstacles or barriers to care, and then figure out how we can overcome those barriers. Sometimes it's as simple as a ride or a functioning car. Sometimes it's as tough as the bridge is out and there's no electricity down in Avon, and how are we going to get some blood work drawn on one of our patients. So We also, the hospital also can provide with some of these funds. We have free breast cancer screenings, free colon cancer screenings, and free lung cancer screenings now for under and uninsured patients. So if you have anybody out there that can use our help, you can just call the navigators or call the cancer service phone number, and we will assist anybody in the community. And that's what we do, so that's it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Jennifer?
Hello. Hi, Commissioners, Mayor, and know a few of you in there. My name's Jennifer. I'm the Director of Interfaith Community Outreach. We're a local 501c nonprofit. Our regular mission is we help people facing temporary emergency crisis. In 2015, we took over the Outer Banks Cancer Support Group. That is a group that's been around for over 25 years. Their volunteer base was dwindling down, and they had a lump sum of funds, but they didn't have any volunteers to distribute the funds. So they looked at some different nonprofits, and they came to Interfaith Community Outreach. We worked with our board and dissolved them through Secretary of State. So we do a lot of different things now with the Cancer Support Program. Hands of Hope is an amazing program. We do a lot of collaboration with the hospital, the nurse navigators. Jean Freeman sitting back there, she only does cancer, so we did hire somebody 4 days a week that meet with the clients, give the outreach. Now, everything for cancer, we can help with transportation. That's if we cannot get them a donated ride, we pay mileage. So every time they take a trip to Duke or Chapel Hill or Virginia, there's a stipend. We also can give a grant up to $2,000 to help pay for mortgage, rent, childcare, bills while they're going through chemo. Unfortunately, the numbers keep growing with cancer. Today we have 5 new cancer patients that just came in today from Outer Banks Hospital. I believe it's 88% of our referrals are coming from the Outer Banks Hospital. Our budget for 2017-18 fiscal year is anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000 per month. That is only for cancer patients right now, so it's a big budget. And a lot of collaboration with all the other nonprofits on the Outer Banks. I will say we all work together. We have monthly meetings with the hospital, the nurse navigators, and the Relief Foundation. We all pull our funds together to give the best help that we can give to each of our residents here at Dare County. Am I forgetting anything, Jean? So last year, since date, 2003, since Interfaith first opened the door and was incorporated in 2004, we've given over $2.3 million back to our community and helped over 7,000 families. So it's a great organization. So we're thrilled that Jack gave us a call and wants to give this ride and raise some funds for us. So thank you.
Thank you. I can assure you that there are many people in this room right now that are going to be impacted by cancer if you haven't already been impacted by cancer, either as a victim, as a caregiver, a loved one in your family, or a good friend. It's going to happen. So I'm hoping that residents that do donate will realize that they're actually donating for something that may occur in their future. We're going to, as we ride across the country, we're going to report our progress through various means, and you can see those here. My daughter, who's pretty tech savvy, is now developing a website for me that will have accompanying it a blog where I'll be posting photographs, progress reports, mileage by day and by cumulative mileage. Jim and Rita will have similar social media so that they'll be able to report their progress. They're not ready for prime time yet, but sometime early in the new year, we'll publish those in local media. And that's, if there's any questions, I'd be glad to respond to them. Thank you very much.
Well, certainly Rita, Jim, and Jack, we wish you guys the best of luck or success through this. What an endeavor. I mean, certainly commend all 3 of you. I won't say how many years younger I am than you, but there's no way I could do what you're doing, and that's just absolutely amazing. So very inspirational. And Ann and Jennifer and folks, thank you for what your organizations do. And Jack shared with me that he was going to be partnering or kind of doing this to help raise funds. for the work you do. I think that just adds another level of commendation to this effort. Just great work in the community, and just wish you all the best. It's really exciting. I can't wait to follow your progress and make sure that we have those links that we can share. So, any comments? Very exciting. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to, we have one item under old business, and there's a memo in your packet. This is a request for direction for the board to give staff to formally explore the feasibility of installing a wind turbine energy generating system at a town hall facility. And Sean, did you want to kind of walk us through where we are with this? Okay, we've got, I know, or maybe Commissioner Midget, I think you've been doing some work with whoever best wants to kind of elaborate. I mean, you've been doing the work with the Wind for Schools program. Who wants to?
Well, Commissioner Mitchell has been very involved. If you'd like to go over some of it, I can. The biggest assessment is to find the location, is my understanding.
Right.
Location.
Meredith brought something to our attention which wasn't even thought of originally, which was fall pattern. And I didn't even know that you had to have so much space for any type of structure that high to fall down. That was happening.
In the event it were to
Right.
ever fall down. Okay.
But I think there's a few places on town properties that will meet those requirements. And Mr. O'Brien told us that we have the right kind of wind, which again, I didn't even know there was the wrong kind, but you know, it was all, you know, everything he told us was all really positive. So I'm hoping that we can move forward with this.
And is it my understanding that this is Mr. O'Brien, he's with the WIN, he's WIN Research Assistant with Appalachian State University, that he is willing to come here and do a presentation, and is that correct?
Yes.
Sometime after the new year. And his presentation will talk about the initial location assessment, which has been completed. And then these other items would be the site survey, the budget and energy goals, how much energy could even be produced by this, and then what is our return on the investment, what do we do with that energy, how do we sell what is harnessed or whatnot, the turbine type, the pricing and selection, installation, and then overall communication. So I don't think we have a date. I think at this point, it's my understanding, is wanted to make sure the board is still interested in this, and having Mr. O'Brien come and do that presentation and share the additional research and work that he's looking at, specific to the town of Kittle Hills.
I'm in favor of it, definitely.
So we'll work with staff. I guess the direction that's provided is yes, we do want to continue
Okay,
and
very
to
good.
have an opportunity to schedule Mr. O'Brien to come present to the board.
Sounds great.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, you did my.
getting this started. Great. Next, we have the consent agenda. And Sean, do you want to walk us through
Yes.
that?
There's two items on the consent agenda, the minutes of the November 15th meeting. And the second item is a CAMA Public Beach and Waterfront Access Program, grant awards for Glenmere and Ferris Avenues beach accesses. Approval of the consent agenda will complete the necessary documentation for renovation of Glenmere and Ferris Avenues beach accesses. Also, the improvements to both accesses will cost $108,000, of which the town's total responsibility is $28,000. Staff recommends approval of the consent agenda as submitted.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve it as presented. I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signal saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, before we move on to new business, I'm going to ask if Commissioner Midget and Mr. Appleman would join me up front for just a moment, put you on the spot. So, speaking on behalf of the board and staff, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with both of you over the last 4 years. Hate to see you go. You've done great work for the town. New ideas, just putting in thought and service and helping make sure the direction that we've been headed over the last 4 years is the direction that's in the best interest of our citizens in our town. So it's a token for each of you. It's your own Kittle Hill statue or the monument statue. And just thank you both. It's been such a pleasure. And opportunities on committees if you wish to serve. We have vacancies.
We'll be asking tough questions.
That's right. That's right. With that, we're gonna move on to our new business. And the first item under new business is the certification of election results. And with that, I will turn it over to our deputy town clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. The following won their respective seats on the board with the vote tally of Sheila Davies, Mayor, 636 votes. Terrence Gray, Commissioner, 443 votes. John Winley, 465 votes.
Yeah, and it's my understanding, are we to submit this, our certification from the Board of Elections? Okay. All right. That official reading of the results is a requirement by law to do that. So that's the certification, the official putting them out on record for the results. And now we'll move into actually swearing us into office for the positions. I'll bring this to you. Actually, I'll see if my family wants to join us up front. My husband Daryl, my two sons Wyatt and Chase. Hi guys. Read the Bible?
Mama, raise your right hand.
Or you just hold it?
And left hand on us.
Okay.
Repeat after me if you will. I, Sheila F. Davies,
I, Sheila F. Davies,
do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain
do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as mayor
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as mayor
of the town of Kill Devil Hills
of the town of Kill Devil Hills
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the law,
according to the law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gray? Raise your right hand. Left hand.
There you go. I, Terry Gray,
I, Terry Gray,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
that I will support, maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the state of North Carolina,
of the state of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as Commissioner
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office of Commissioner
of the town of Kill Devil
of
Hills,
the town of Kill Devil Hills,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the law,
according to the law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just a minute.
Right.
Who's gonna hold the Bible?
Come in right here.
Raise your right hand.
One second, I get all the Wendy's up here.
We're good. All right. Repeat after me. I, John Winley,
I, John Windley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the state of North Carolina,
of the state of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office,
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my
and I will
office
faithfully discharge the duties of my office
as Commissioner of the town of Kill Devil Hills,
as Commissioner of the town of Kill Devil Hills,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the law,
according to the law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
And if Commissioner Gray and Commissioner Winley would join us up here, we'll get to one item of business before we take a little break and have some cake and refreshments. So, congratulations and welcome both of you.
Thank
Look forward to serving with you. Thank you.
you.
So for the family members and friends that are in the audience, we're just gonna do one quick item of business and then we will take a little break, so for some fellowship. And that item of business that we need the new full board here for is the appointment of the mayor pro tem. I'll entertain a motion for nominations for mayor pro tem.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to move that we name Commissioner Hogan Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion a second. Any discussion? I'll just say thank you for that nomination. Mike's done a good job in getting your service. So with that, all in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thank you. So you will need to be sworn in that position, and then you will take a break.
My wife couldn't be here tonight, she's recovering from knee surgery. It's just me. Appreciate that.
Repeat after me, please. I, Michael A. Hogan,
I, Michael A. Hogan,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and maintain the Constitution
I will support and maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United
and
States
laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of my office as Mayor Pro Tem
of my office as Mayor Pro Tem
of the town of Kill Devil Hills,
of the town of Kill Devil Hills,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the law.
according to the law.
Congratulations.
With that, the motion to, actually, you know what, I think we actually put it on here, so we don't even have to have a motion because we put in that we're gonna have refreshments. So we're going to just take a little break and put our meeting on hold for a minute and have some refreshments, and then we'll reconvene in about 10, 15 minutes or so when everyone's had an opportunity. So, for sake of the video, I'm going to just do a gavel to bring us back together. Okay, we are going to pick up under new business. We are on to item number 2. This is adoption of Code of Ethics and Conduct for the Board of Commissioners. In your packet, you'll see we worked with staff to prepare kind of provide a summary of what we adopted as a board back in 2012 as a Code of Ethics, but then also just some additional work. The School of Government, North Carolina UNC School of Government, has a policy, and then the American Society of Public Administration Professionals also has a Code of Ethics. So just wanted to put forth for consideration of how we wanted to go as now a newly formed board, which Code of Ethics we want to approve and operate under. Open the floor for discussion and comments. Comments or discussion? Sure.
This is our code of conduct thing is pretty long and involved. I'm not going to read all that, but I would like to read just a couple of paragraphs that I think are important. If you bear with me, I'm going to take a minute or so. The Code of Ethics and Conduct for the Kill Devil Hills Board of Commissioners. Stability and proper operation of democratic representative government depends upon the continued consent of the governed, upon the public confidence in the integrity of the government, and upon responsible exercise of the trust conferred by the people. Government decision and policy must be made and implemented through proper channels and processes of governmental structure. The purpose of this code is to establish guidelines for ethical standards of conduct for the mayor and board of commissioners, and all references herein to the board of commissioners shall be understood to include the mayor. It should not be considered a substitute for the law or a board member's best judgment. Board members must act in a manner to maintain their integrity and independence, yet must be responsive to the interests and needs of those they represent. Board members serve in an important advocacy capacity in meeting the needs of the citizens and should recognize the legitimacy of this role, as well as the intrinsic relevance of this role to the proper function of representative government. At the same time, board members must, at all times, act in an adjudicatory or administrative capacity, and must, when doing so, act in fair and impartial manner. Board members must know how to distinguish these roles and when each role is appropriate, and they must act accordingly. Board members must be aware of their obligation to conform their behavior to standards of ethics conduct that warrants the trust of their constituents. Each board member must find within his or her own conscience the touchstone on which to determine appropriate conduct. And further on, towards the end, be it further resolved that a violation of this code of ethics may subject a board member to a censure resolution by the Kill Devil Hills Board of Commissioners. However, no such censure resolution shall be adopted until the person alleged to have committed the violation has been given notice of the alleged violation and provided with the opportunity to appear before the board to be heard regarding the allegation. I don't think we'll ever get to that last part. I'm pretty sure we won't. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of important to read that. The whole thing is pretty involved and interesting, but it's something I think we all need to be very cognizant of when we're dealing with the issues we deal with every day.
And the excerpts you read were from what was adopted in 2012, just for anyone in the audience. The packet, like I mentioned, contains that, as well as a couple other examples. Other comments or input?
I'd like to thank you for bringing this forward. I think it is very appropriate, and I appreciate you bringing the different items. I like the one that was previously adopted by the board, is what I would prefer. It looked good to me. I read it all the way through, and and studied it for a bit and it looked good, so that, I'm in favor of that.
I'd like to keep the 2012 version as well. I read it and liked it. I'd like to stay consistent.
Sharita?
I agree as well, and I think a lot, the code of conduct, training that we get as commissioners is pretty in-depth and includes all of what is included in what we adopted in 2012, so, and it's pretty specific, and it's not as simple as what people think, so I think that's one of the things, as we sit up here and make decisions, it's hard for, people to understand sometimes, so, yes.
Well, I think there seems then agreement, so a motion would be in order then to adopt the Code of Ethics for our board, the 2012 version of the Code of Ethics for this operating board. Would anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Rubado, second by Commissioner Winley. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Okay, next we'll move on to the nomination for appointment for the Dare County Tourism Board. Commissioner Hogan has been serving a 2-year term and is eligible to serve another term. The way that this board is handled is the Dare County Commissioners make those nominations based on what they receive from the different towns. So it's not an automatic renewal. However, Commissioner Hogan has expressed his interest in being reappointed and desires to be reappointed. They also require, though, that we submit 3 names. We tried in the past, believe it or not, to not submit 3 names because, in fact, 2 years ago, based on schedules and availability, because they do meet during the day, and when you serve on the tourism board, I served for a little while, which it's an incredibly valuable board, but when you serve, it's a significant time commitment. They have 1 daytime meeting a month, and then you're assigned to serve on 2 additional committees that also typically meet during the day. So last time we went and submitted names, we submitted 3 knowing that we also didn't have the members who could commit to that type of schedule. Fortunately, Mayor Pro Tem Hogan is available and interested and has done a great job over the past 2 years. But as we put names forth, we do need to submit 3 names.
Well, yeah, back when 2 years ago, we did this first time, the main reason why I was able to do it is because I'm self-employed and my time is flexible, and I'm even more flexible now because I'm semi-retired, so semi, but I'd like to continue doing it, and I understand the situation. We have to put 3 names in, so that's fine.
As far as 2 additional names, interested in submitting, being on the list?
I'm comfortable being put on the list. I do support Mayor Pro Tem Hogan's as the next person to serve on the board.
I'm same as John. I support him and Mayor Pro Tem Hogan. I think he's done a great job, and I think that he needs to be on the list and put John on there too.
Okay. And did you want to be, either of you want to be the 3rd name on the list?
Not to be.
You've been elected.
With that, look, put me on there.
Thank you. The last time my name got on there, I got appointed, so.
And then she had to decline.
And then I had to decline, so somehow, I don't know why, it was the last one. Some mistaken.
Then, and I would like, as, for us, we have to respond back to Dare County, and that our response be, that we request Mayor Pro Tem to be reappointed, and we are also providing, Commissioners Winley and Commissioner Gray as additional names. You okay with that? Okay. Then, a motion would be in order.
I make a motion that we submit the names as you just said.
That'll work. That's a motion.
Second.
In the second, any further discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Great. Any opposed?
What she said.
Okay, you can go with the what she said since it was so fresh. Okay, the last item under new business is the land use plan update and specifically looking at the consultant recommendation. And Meredith, I see you approaching the podium. You'll
If you want me to, if you don't want
Yes,
me to.
please.
I-
Yep, that's fine. That way you're there if there's questions. Basically, while she's walking, I'll introduce this, that we did put out a request for proposals. The town received 3 submittals in response to that. And the staff is recommending Holland Consulting Planners, which their response was included in our packet. The other 2 submittals are available if you wish to review them. HPC, as they're known, has extensive experience specific with land use plans, including 82 certified CAMA land use plans. So they also have experience very consistent with what we're looking at for the town of Killable Hills. And they also fall, if you'll recall, with previous discussions, we were figuring out approximately how much this would cost. We had talked about in the $60,000 range for this consultant service, and their proposal came in at $48,500, so within where we were hoping for it to be. So staff is recommending that we go with Holland Consulting Planners. And Meredith, though I will, if you have anything to add to that,
I'll
or,
answer any questions you might have.
okay, if we have any specific questions, then I guess she was gonna say what I just said, so. So what we're looking to accomplish tonight, if we can go ahead and approve moving forward with HPC Consulting, then that would let the process go ahead and start. And we would also need to approve the budget amendment so we can move the funds to pay for the service. So,
The only thing I'll add is their time frame was approximately 1 year, which was what the board had desired to be able to have this done within the plan to be completed in a year. So from start to finish, that is their plan pending the CRC meeting schedule, but that's their goal.
and we have discussed, and Meredith, correct me if I'm wrong, the surveys that were conducted, having an update from staff. Will that be ready in January or
We're
on
working
the
on the
community survey?
The
Or-
community survey was completed and we had 1,625 responses, which is a very good response rate for an online survey. What I was gonna do was talk to our consultant to see if he wanted to take the information and put it in a form that he wanted to present to you guys. We're still working on the comments. There's over 5,000 comments written in the plan, and we can work with the consultant and get it to you guys in early 2018.
And that's what I know, some of the public is interested as well as board members are interested, what, is the, what's the information coming out of the community survey? Is it consistent with prior years, or is it gonna take us maybe in a new direction that then the consultant obviously will work through? So with that, we'll
Most of the
expect.
questions were very consistent with the 2007 survey. Very consistent. It's the comments that are hard to pin down.
Well, and the consultant, the nice thing is, they can go through, basically the qualitative process of data analysis, and there's certainly strong systems for doing that and how you group comments and then are able to provide, so there's a way to synthesize that, so it's easier to process 5,000 comments.
As we've worked through it, we're really looking forward to the consultant coming on board.
I'm sure. Okay. Any questions for Meredith? Okay. Is the board prepared to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. Excuse me. Make a motion to authorize the town manager to execute a contract with HPC Incorporated in the amount of $48,500 for preparation of our land use plan update, and further, to approve budget amendment number 8 to provide funds for HPC Incorporated's consulting service for this project.
There's a motion, is there a second? Second? Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much, thank you. Okay, Now we will move on to Commissioner's agenda, and we'll start with you, Commissioner Ray, welcome again.
Thank you. I don't have anything to bring forward other than to just make some comments. I want to tell the citizens of Killable Hills that I appreciate the ones that voted for me. I will continue, as I stated in my campaign, to try to be available. And I've posted my phone number, and people can certainly call me with any concerns. I'll try to be as open and honest and transparent as I can be to do the best job that I can be for the citizens of Killable Hills. Thank you very much. I want to say also, the staff has been phenomenal in making this transition period easy, and they have just set everything up in such a way that kind of just walk through it pretty easy. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Mr. Winley?
Hi, I wanted to take a quick minute and promote an event, Pulling for a Purpose. It is a charity event that will be at the Manio Airport this Saturday, the 16th at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's raising funds for the Dare County Education Foundation. I saw this, obviously, I first thought, I don't know if a airplane pulling contest would be the appropriate first activity for a new Board of Commissioners to do together. But the idea that they're raising money for the Education Foundation is really great and got my attention. What came out to me is right now, Congress is debating on changing on tax reform, and there's a possibility that teachers may lose their tax deduction for buying supplies for their classroom. And if that happens, then organizations like the Education Foundation will be more important than ever in supporting educators. I've never met a rich teacher. You know, those folks need all the help they can get. So I think this is a worthwhile charity. It'll be a lot of fun. I recommend everybody, if you don't have to pull an airplane, but you can definitely go and support a good cause. I would like to take a little more time and thank the community and everybody who supported me in my campaign. There's a lot of friendly faces in this room and people that, and my family that left earlier, that really helped me out. People who encouraged me to run, who gave me good advice, who listened, who let me vent, and made a tough process enjoyable. Even though they left, I have to thank my wife. Running a campaign and being a public servant, that time comes from somewhere, and that time came from my family. Nobody here, everybody knows my children in this room right now. Everybody got exposure to them, and when I'm working with the town, that's time away from home, and I love my wife. We're going to celebrate 13 years of marriage next week. I'm a lucky guy to have such a lovely, caring, patient spouse. That said, thank you, everybody. I'm happy to be your commissioner.
I'll just say welcome to both of y'all and I'm not gonna say goodbye to the outgoing commissioners because y'all aren't going anywhere. You're gonna stay right where you are. So I'm gonna say thank you for your service and thank you for your continued service. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Ms. Grayson?
Yeah, also I want to welcome you guys, and you guys ran a great campaign, and I spent some time with all of y'all over there helping out campaigning, and I'm impressed with the board we have now, and I'm impressed with the board that we've had for the past 4 years. And we're going to miss Travis and Mike a lot, but as Brandy said, don't go anywhere. We might need you. So thanks very, very much for what you've done. Appreciate it.
Okay. I think that we'll move under Mayor's agenda. Let's see. One item of business that's in your packet is the proposed calendar for 2018. I don't know if you all have had a chance to review these dates and match those with your calendars.
I didn't see any conflicts for me at this point. I have to say that something might come up.
Set that far in advance.
Commissioner Gray, Commissioner Whitney?
I was fine with that.
I
looked at it.
June 24th may be an issue. This will be an issue for me. The 25th and 26th will be in Chapel. That's when we're going to do we committed to the candidate training, and so I will be out of town on the 24th. Everything else is fine.
The 24th.
January 24th.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's when you're,
The Thursday and Friday after that, or that's when I will be at the candidate training at Chapel Hill.
okay,
And you're leaving that Wednesday, right? Yeah, right. I got it.
okay. So that date would not work.
That
then.
date will not work.
Okay,
All the dates are out. Fine.
let's see. Do I have calendars to pull up and take it quickly? That's okay. January 22nd would be the Monday. We historically, and I don't know that, is that a holiday? Can we look at this calendar and make sure?
No, it's not, but I can't do the 22nd.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll go for another one. All right, let's see. And we're already meeting on the 15th. Oh, yeah, it's the 15th, that's the holiday. Well, we're in luck. There's an extra Wednesday in January. What about the 31st?
Oh.
We actually happen to,
Works for me.
wonderful.
That
Okay.
works.
All right, is that, okay, great. Glad that was a longer month. Okay. Any other day at this point? And every now and then, you know, I mean, we can run a meeting with 4. It's obviously not ideal, but we can do it.
Yeah, but if you know in advance, it's.
Yeah,
it's
sometimes we
easy to-
can move things if need be. We've done that in the past, so. Okay, let's see, then a motion would be in order to adopt the calendar with the one change of, replacing January 24th with January 31st.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I also wanted to bring recognition to the collection drives that are still in process until the end of this week, so until Friday, I believe. We're still collecting items for nursing home residents, so you can see the collection that's growing there on the table. Half seem to be nursing home, the other half are for shelter pets, for needs for our furry friends. So if you're still interested in dropping off collections, we're taking them here at Town Hall, we're taking them at the Recycle Center, and also at the Fire Department. And thank you all so much who have already contributed. Goes a long way to making the holidays a little brighter for those who are less fortunate. Thank you, and thank you to the staff that put the time in to deliver these collections as well in those efforts. Happy belated birthday yesterday to Valerie Loack, who's in our audience, and a happy early birthday to Mike and Sue. But he and his wife share the same birthday, and it's tomorrow. So happy early birthday, and please wish Sue a happy birthday as well.
I'll do that, thank you.
Absolutely.
Ask me what are the chances
What are the chances? You
of
know
that?
the odds.
1 in 365.
I walked right into that. Why did I do that? No.
I get asked that a
So,
lot.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
So I've heard it before.
Obviously. Anyway, Jack, thank you again for your presentation tonight, and I wish the three of you great success on your journey. Please keep us posted. And again, welcome to our new commissioners. I do look forward to serving with you. And we will certainly stay in touch, Travis and Michael. And I wasn't joking about the committees. I mean, we're gonna have a vacancy on the planning board now, and we do have vacancies on the appearance committee as well. And Katie, thanks for rubbing my little guy to sleep up front. If you haven't seen it, my 7-year-old is asleep in her lap up here.
He's very happy.
And I would be remiss in also not thanking everyone who supported me in my campaign. Many of you are in the room that helped on any campaign committee or with contributions, and it's an honor to serve the constituents in Killable Hills and our community, and I look forward to continuing the great work with our staff team that we have, so thank you all very, very much. And with that, we will turn to the town manager's agenda. And if you don't mind if I say, I'm sorry, you notice Debbie's not here, our town manager, and I've shared at previous meetings that she has had to be nearly a full-time caregiver for Victor, her husband, who's been battling some health issues over the past couple of months. It's my understanding he is doing better, so we have some good news, but still requires her attention away this evening. And so we appreciate you filling in, and hopefully we'll see Debbie back with us in January. So, and with that, I'll turn it over to Town Manager.
And, well, I don't have anything.
Okay, okay. And Casey is not here. Hopefully everything will be okay with his situation. So it honestly brings us out to the second time set aside this evening for public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to speak at this time for public comment? Mike? No? Oh, almost. Anyone else? No. Okay, well, I do know there is lots of extra cake, so please take a to-go plate of cake. I think staff would be happy if you would be willing to do that. And with that, I certainly wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, Happy New Year. We won't be back until January, but we're available if you need us before then. So, any other comments from the board? Okay, motion to close or adjourn then.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Good night. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.